Okay, in this video, we're going to write the equations of ellipses, which is identical to what we did last section, just backwards. Here, we're going to be given the graph and write the equations. Reminder, the biggest thing to remember here is when you're dealing with your axes, that your A value is bigger than your B value when you're dealing with an ellipse. So therefore, your horizontal ellipses are going to be x minus a squared over a squared. If the largest number, remember a is bigger than b, if the largest number is under the x, then it's horizontal. Then you have plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. If the largest number is under the y, then it's going to be a vertical ellipse. So the b stuff is under the x plus y minus k squared over a squared is equal to 1. Again, remember that a is bigger than b. To where the distance from the center to the vertices on your major axis, on the major axis, that would be the A value. B is the distance from the center to the co-vertices on the minor axis. And to find the foci, we're going to use this formula. A squared minus B squared is equal to C squared. Remember that A is bigger than B, because if you flip-flopped it around, if B was the bigger value, then this would give you a negative C squared, which would deal with imaginary complex numbers. That doesn't happen. So set number 1 says write the equation of the ellipse, identify the center, vertices, co-vertices, and foci. So we can do it in any order you want to. The center, we can start out by just picking the points off. The center is going to be at 0, 0. There's your center. This one is wider than it is tall, so the vertices are here and here. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 6. So that's going to be at positive and negative 6, 0, because here's negative 6. Your co-vertices are up 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 4. So that's going to be at 0 and 4 and negative 4. So we can just do plus and minus 4. The foci we'll find in just a second. Let's go ahead, since we've got all that information, we can go ahead and find our equation from just that. The x minus 0, you don't have to put, you can just put x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. Since it's horizontal. Our A value, again, is the distance to our vertices, which in this case is a 6. So x squared over 36, y squared over b squared, which would be 16, equals 1. There's your equation. Now the foci, if you don't remember, the foci is the distance to the the foci is the rotation, what the ellipse is revolving around. So to find that distance, here's what we do. The distance to our vertices was 6. The distance to our co-vertices was 4. So therefore, we're going to do a squared minus b squared is equal to c squared, which is the distance c to the foci. So it'll be 36 minus 16 is equal to c squared. So 20 equals c squared. So the square root of 20 is going to be the distance to our foci, which is going to be, let's see, that's around 4.5, something like that. 1, 2, 3. So somewhere right around in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, right around in there. So therefore, our vertices, our foci are going to be located at plus and minus 2 root 5, which is simplified root 20, comma 0. Or you can type that in as into your calculator and get the actual 4.47, comma 0. Either one of those answers is fine. The next one, the center is also at 0, 0. Our vertices are now on the vertical axis, and they're located 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 7 and down 7. So they're going to be located at 0, comma, positive and negative 7. The co-vertices are 1, 2, 3 units over and located at plus and minus 3, 0. The foci, to find it, we're going to do a squared, which here's my a value. My b value, we're going to do a squared minus b squared is equal to c squared. So that would be a squared would be 49 minus 9 equals c squared. So 40 is c squared, so the square root of 40. Which you can write as, let's see, that's going to be 4 times 10, which is 2 root 10. So you can either write it as 0, comma, plus and minus 2 root 10, or you can write it as 0 plus and minus 6.32. So there's your foci. So the equation, this one has not been translated, so we have x squared plus y squared. And since the larger, your major axis is vertical, that means the larger number is going to go under the y. So since your a value is 7, you're going to put a 49 under the y. Since your b value is 3, you're going to put a 9 under the x. So therefore, there's your equation. The next one. This center has been translated. We're moving to the right 1, 2, 3, and moving down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right 3, down 6. So that already tells us that we're going to do x minus 3 to move it right 3, plus y plus 6 to move it down 6. Now we need some a values and b values. This has a major axis that is horizontal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the distance to our vertex. And I'm going to go ahead and count, and 1 would be the distance to our co-vertices. So therefore, to actually find those vertices, we can just actually see the points there, or we can take our center and move right 5 and left 5 from our center. So that's going to be at 8, -6, and -2, -6. Our co-vertices are going to be up 1 and down 1 from our center. So that's going to be 3, -7, and 3, -5. And again, you can just either count to there or just do that as well. The distance to our foci, a squared minus b squared equals c squared. It'll be 25 minus 1 is c squared, so 24 is c squared. So therefore, the distance will be 2√6. So we can either write our foci as the center, and we've got to move plus and minus 2√6 from that center. Our x value would change. Or you can actually do those operations, and 2√6 is approximately 4.9. So we can do 3 plus 4.9 would be 7.9 comma -6, and 3 minus 4.9 would be -1.9 comma -6. So that way would work as well. Oh, and I don't know if we didn't finish our equation. So since this is a horizontal major axis, the 5 will go under the x. So 5 squared will be 25. 1 squared will be 1, and that's equal to 1. There's your equation. Number 4, it says, given the vertices, co-vertices, and foci. So now without looking at a graph, how are we going to find this? So we're going to find the center, use the midpoint formula, because if you think about it, if you've got an ellipse, if these are the vertices or these are the co-vertices, the center is going to be located directly between those. So that's how you're going to find the center. Use the vertices to find A, use the co-vertices to find B. If the given foci, if you're given the foci, then we're going to use this formula to find the missing part, determine the direction of the ellipse, and write the equation. So number 4, we have some vertices and we have some co-vertices. So first off, let's find out where our center is going to be. And to find that center, it's going to be directly in between here and here. So we're going to, again, use our midpoint formula. And if you don't remember your midpoint formula, you add your x's divided by 2, add your y's divided by 2, add your x's, you get 0 divided by 2, add your y's, you get 0 divided by 2. So my midpoint here is 0, 0. So therefore, that gives us part of our equation. X squared over something plus y squared over something is equal to 1. Because this has not been translated left or right or up or down. Next up, we need our a value and our b value. And the way we're going to find that, the a value is going to be the distance from the center to a vertex. So from here to here, or from here to here, the distance is going to be 5. So my a value here is 5. My b value is the distance from here to a co-vertex. So my b value is going to be 2. Since my a value, okay, my vertices are to the left and to the right of my center, that means that I have a horizontal ellipse here. So the largest value is going to go under my x's. So I have x squared over 25, y squared over 4, because you do have to square them. It's x squared over a squared and y squared over b squared. There's your equation. Now you could find the foci. I don't think it asks. No, you could find the foci by using this a and b, and that would tell you what the c was. Okay, another one just like that. Our vertices are at 0, -8, and 0, +8. Notice that the vertices now are up and down from the center. So therefore, you can find the center by simply finding the midpoint of these or the midpoint of these. But again, that center is going to be, in this case, 0, 0. So that gives me x squared over something plus y squared over something is equal to 1. Let's find our a values and our b values. Our a is the distance from the center to either one of these points, which is 8. Our b is the distance from the center to either one of these points, which is 6. Again, you have to figure out if it's taller or if it's wider. Since 0, -8, and 0, +8 is up and down, and that's your vertices. Again, the vertices is the larger distance. So therefore, that's going to be a taller ellipse than a wider. So my a values are going to go under the y. So a squared under y, b squared under x. And there's your equation. Number 6 gives you, again, the vertices and the co-vertices, but this one's been translated. So to find the midpoint, which will be the center, I'm going to add my x's, divide by 2. That'd be -4 divided by 2. Add your y's, divide by 2. And that gives me a midpoint at -2, 1. So that's going to tell me that my ellipse is going to be at x plus 2 squared over something plus y minus 1 squared over something. Again, the a value is the distance from the center to either vertex. And notice that the ones are all the same because this is lined up. It's not been twisted, so it's very easy to say, okay, how far is it from -2 to -5, or how far is it from -2 to +1? That a value would be 3. The b value is the distance from the center to either one of these values. The -2's are all the same. So how far is it from 1 to 3 or from 1 to -1? That would be a distance of 2. This ellipse, again, you could graph the center, -2, 1. The vertices are located at -5, 1 and at 1, 1. So that means this is going to be a horizontal ellipse. So the larger value is going to go under my x's. So that's going to be over 9, and the y's would be over 4 equals 1. And there is your ellipse. First off, again, let's find our center. To find the center, you add your x's, divide by 2. Add your y's, gives you 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. So the center is located at 5, 1. So you have x minus 5, shifts it to the right 5. Y minus 1 would shift it up 1. So there's half of your equation. The a value and b value. Again, a value is the distance from the center to the vertex. So 5, 1 to 5, 8, or 5, 1 to 5, -6 is a distance of 7. The distance from here to a co-vertex is your b value. Since 5, 1 and 5, 8, again, you can plot those. 5, 1, go right 5 and up 1. 5, 8, go right 5, go up 8. So this would be a vertical distance. So from your center to your vertex, you will go up and down. And again, this would be your major axis. So therefore, we have a vertical major axis, which means my larger number goes under y. So my a value squared is 49. My b value squared is 36. There is my equation. Number 8, doing it a little bit different now. They give us an a value and a c value. Let's first find our center. To find the center, you can actually use the foci as well. You can find the center point of these or the center point of these. That's going to be add your x's, divide by 2 gives you -5 in either case. Add your y's, divide by 2 gives you 6. So therefore, my center is at -5, 6. That would be x plus 5 squared over something plus y minus 6 squared over something equals 1. The a value here is the distance from your center to your vertex. From -5, 6 to 0, 6, that's a distance of 5. My B value is the distance to the co-vertices, which I don't have. However, I do have the C value. The C value is the distance from your center to your foci, which is in this case a 3. Okay, so therefore I have the formula to find my B value, which I am going to need. I'm going to have to do A squared minus B squared is equal to C squared. A squared is 25 minus B squared is equal to 9. I would probably move my B squared over here, move my 9 over here. It gives me 16 is B squared, so my B value would be 4. So next up is just finding out, is it a horizontal or is it a vertical ellipse? The center was at negative 5, 6, which is somewhere over here. My foci or my vertices are both on the major axes, so they are to the right and left of that center point. So this is a horizontal, so the larger value is going to go under the x. 25 under the x, 16 under the y. Number 9, first step, find your center. Do that by adding your x's, divide by 2. Add your y's, gives you negative 14, divide by 2. So we have x plus 9 squared over something plus y plus 7 squared over something as well equals 1. The distance, again, from your center to your vertex, either vertex is going to be your A value. This would have an A value of 5. My B value here is unknown. My C value is the distance from the center to either focus, and that's going to be a distance of 4. Again, you can use A squared minus B squared is equal to C squared. That's the relationship. So since you have A squared is 25 minus B squared equals 16, that's going to give you B squared is 9. So therefore, B would have to be 3. And this is not a Pythagorean triple. You got to be careful there because this is not the Pythagorean theorem. It looks a lot like it, but it's not. So be careful with your numbers there. So therefore, is it horizontal or is it vertical? Negative 9, negative 7, somewhere down here is the center. Negative 9, negative 3, and negative 11, or negative 2 and negative 12. That's going to be above and below. That means since the vertices and the foci are above and below, this is a vertical ellipse. So therefore, the largest number is going to go under the y's. So 25 under the y's, 9 under the x's. Number 10. Gives you a co-vertices and gives you a focus. Again, the center is going to be this, the middle of either one of those. It is going to be at 0, 0 in either case. So you have x squared over something plus y squared over something equals 1. The B, A, B, and C, B is going to be the distance to your co-vertices, which you do have, and that'd be a distance of 5. C would be the distance to your foci, which would be a distance of 12. You can do A squared minus B squared equals C squared. So that'd be A squared minus 25 equals 144, which gives you A squared is 169, so A would have to be 13. Since your co-vertices, or let's use our foci, because we know the foci are going to be on your major axis. That's going to tell us if it's up and down or left and right. 0, 12, that's up. 0, negative 12 is down. So therefore, since your foci are above and below your center, that means you have a vertical major axis. So that means the largest number is going to go under the y. So 169 under the y, 25 under the x. Okay, the last one. Again, gives you co-vertices and foci. Step number 1, find the center. Add your x's, divide by 2. Add your y's, gives you negative 2, divide by 2. So therefore, you have x minus 2 squared over something plus y plus 1 squared over something else equals 1. This one, 2, negative 1, and then you've got 2, 7, and 2, negative 9 is the co-vertices. But again, I would look at the foci, which is located 4, negative 1 would be to the right of that. 8, negative 1, or excuse me, negative 4, negative 1 would be to the left of it. 8, negative 1 would be to the right. So therefore, this is a horizontal. This would be a horizontal ellipse. So therefore, my larger number is going to go under my x's. right here. So let's find our A, B, and C values. We don't have A, but my B value is the distance from here to either one of these, which would be a distance of 8. My C value is the distance from here to either one of these, which would be a distance of 6. A squared minus B squared is equal to C squared. Move the 64 over, it gives you A squared is 100, so A would have to be 10. And again, my largest number is going to go under my X's. My 64, which is my B squared, will go under my Y's.